some other trainers and buying How to Eat, Move and Be Healthy. Then I went to see him talk in Brighton, which was a real big experience for me. I thoroughly enjoyed that day, paid my money, it was excellent. But the reason why I'm calling it the PaulChek Success Complete and Utter Failure is that what they're doing is not listening to their faculty level 5 master, me, whereas if they would have listened to me, it would have solved a lot of the problems that they're going through now. From a point of view, Paul really caned exercise machines in the gym, saying it doesn't switch on the core. But that annihilated the physiotherapist, because the physiotherapist will work with clients with chronic injuries or people with a stroke. So you would need to use machines to build up their base conditioning and then get them to do exercises with Swiss balls and other things in which to get them more mobile over time. So really that was a huge mistake. But he probably did that for marketing and to get people to buy the £250 manuals that probably only cost £90 or £50 to print off and to do the DVDs, so making a huge profit. So alienating, the physios and then alienating the gyms as well, because a lot of gyms have cardiovascular equipment for running, rowers, as well as a lot of machines like the Smith machine. I don't really like that machine. You got the leg press, you got the hammer strength equipment, you got all these different types of equipment. And these different types of equipment I was using when I was 19, so over 30 years ago in Wag Bennett's gym. So for Paul saying they're all crap and shouldn't be used, that's completely wrong, because bodybuilders have been using that type of equipment in Wag Bennett's gym in Wanstead Park for over 40-50 years. And Arnold had a semi six-pack, and so did other bodybuilders. So have I got a six-pack. Well, everyone's got a six-pack. Depends on how much fat you got over the top of it. So where it's become a complete and utter failure is that for the practitioner, they're wanting you to tap into 12 other professionals like a physio, osteopath, doctor, and chiropractor. But because of the name, it's been going since 1995, Chek practitioner, it's never been mainstream. And I think it's because of the failure of Paul not seeing slagging off all machines and gyms, have put him in the trash can by them people that own the gyms. And that's why it's very, very hard for a Chek practitioner to find a job in a corporate gym or a gym that's like Fitness First or something like that. Now, I worked at Fitness First, and this was before I become a Chek practitioner. So I know it's much harder to get into Fitness First now with that sort of qualification, because it's not recognised by Ofcom and not recognised by the government. It's only recognised by the private organisation of the CHEKInstitute. And that's why they want you to do the Chek Academy, which costs you over £11,595, £322 a month, which is a payment for a mortgage, or a payment for a really nice car, or a payment for a cruise line, a holiday, or 6 weeks in Thailand. So my whole point is that he trashed it that way. And then he said recently, apparently, this is on the grapevine, oh, we don't want personal trainers to do our courses anymore. We only want doctors, physios, osteopaths, and real elite professionals to do our courses. Now, there's only one problem with that, is that the physio, osteopath and doctor, especially the doctor, has spent over 100k on their education. where they get a registered license or DR at the beginning of their name, and they're highly insured and regulated to such a high level that PaulChek, talking about his drug smoking or cannabis smoke, tobacco smoking and cannabis smoking, is something that a doctor will not touch because they're worried about losing their licenses. Does that make sense? And why would you spend 100k and then go and spend £11,595 for 3 years on something that's not recognised anywhere in the world apart from the private organisation of the CHEKInstitute? Do you see my point? And if doctors did start doing it, physios, osteopaths and chiropractors, it's only going to be 1%. So the bigger percentage of people that do the PaulChek practitioner courses are personal trainers. So the other thing we have to remember is that where they're setting the success formula up for failure is that Chek practitioner, wherever you are in the world, is only searched for 12 times a month. So on average, as an entrepreneur, as I know the numbers, you need to get 10 leads, and the 11th, 12th lead will be the person that signs up. Does that make sense? So, and then if you've got, say, 10 Chek practitioners on the Chek practitioner page advertising themselves, not all of them are level 5s. Some of them are saying they're certified, and they're not even level 5s. To be certified, you need to be passed by Paul, like I was. So the next way that they're setting the success formula up for failure is that they're saying to them, don't call yourself a personal trainer. Call yourself a health coach. Don't call yourself a personal trainer. Well, that's unbelievably stupid, because personal trainer in Google every month has 45,000 searches. So if you're not marketing personal trainer on your website, people are landing and going, Chek practitioner, what the fuck is that? But they see all this good stuff, but then they're thinking, what is it? Are they insured? What is it? Everybody knows what a physio, osteopath, chiropractor and a doctor is, and a nutritionist is, but nobody knows what a holistic health coach is. And they changed the name because when it was nutrition and lifestyle coaching, they got into trouble. So they had to change it, but they had to keep it quiet, not telling anybody. Does that make sense? And then to do the holistic lifestyle coaching whole program with FDN, which is, I think, £8,000 or £9,000. When I did it, it was £500. And then to get all the HLC 1, 2 and 3, the whole package works out to £12,000. How long is it going to take you to make that money back if you spent £12,000 and you're not good at sales and you've got a website that's just your business card because you don't know how to market it to make you 30 grand or £40,000 a year? Does that make sense? So then they've said in the success formula, oh, set up your own clinic. Do you know how much it costs to set up your own clinic? Then Gavin Jenkins is saying, oh, if you ain't got enough clients, reduce your price. So that means when you reduce your price because you haven't got enough clients, you're cheapening the service that makes it look worse and not good. Then that means it takes you even longer to make your 11,900 and your £11,595 back. Remember, any course that you do, you want to make the money back as quick as possible so you're in profit. Lucky enough for me, I've made every single penny back and double because I'm good at sales and marketing. But the average PT or the average Chek practitioner, including 2 faculty members, are absolutely diabolically terrible at Google and the internet. And one of them admits to it. But why would you not be thinking, I need to step up my game. I need to be as good as Scott as on the internet. So I get leads from different keywords on the internet, as well as what I get as a faculty member tapping into every student that studies the program for 3 years, paying £322 per month, which you can buy a nice car, go on holiday, get 11,000 off your mortgage. So this is where they really have set the success formula up for them and not for me or you. Does that make sense? So if the business is worth estimated £32 million, that's why they've extortionately raised the price of the courses but dropped the amount of time that you study for. When I did it, I think I did it in 6 years because things kept happening in life. You get ill, or something happens in your family, or your client base drops down. All these things can happen. That's just life. So by shortening it down to 3 years means that it's even more intense, or they've dramatically watered it down. So you're not getting what I got when I did it. And I've seen that on the level 5, from where I've seen footage online, they're doing different things compared to what I did on my level 5. Well, I didn't have to go there to do a level 5. The level 5 was doing a 10,000 word thesis, which I put into a book format, which I've got over, I think it's about 65 5-star reviews for, which Vidya McNeil helped me to do, she's an amazing woman. So really, you have to think about the success formula. Like, the courses that you will learn and what you will learn on the courses is amazing. And you will have hundreds of tools in your toolbox. But when you get to my level of level 5 master with 27 years of working clients out experience, as well as 35 years of workout experience, starting at Wag Bennett's in Wanstead Park when I was 19, I can see lots of different things. Okay, so I had a golfing client, and to get him as a golfing client, I see him using the leg press. So I'm thinking, Paul says they're shit, so how can I get in the client's head? Because he had a Rolex on. So I look at the client's watch, what car they drive, on how I'm going to pitch myself. So I see him doing the leg press, and I said to him, can I just look at your squat pattern? He went, yeah, sure. I said, what hobbies do you do? Why are you in the gym? And he went, oh, I play golf. I went, okay, so doing a leg press is not really a functional movement. Do you lay on the bed and push your wife away with your legs? Oh, of course I don't do that, Scott. And I said to him, I'm just joking. I'm trying to be jovial with you, in which to build rapport together. So I said to him, let's see you squat. And he couldn't squat at all. He found it really, really difficult. So I said, right, I'm going to show you how to squat in 1 second. All right, Scott, how are you going to effing do that? I went, okay, so we're going to go to the wall. I'm going to get a Swiss ball. I'm going to put it in the middle of your back. You're going to lean back onto the Swiss ball. You're going to have your legs shoulder width apart. You're going to cross your arms over your shoulders. You're going to do a big belly, small belly, pull your transverse abdominis in, or belly button. Go down into the squat as low as you can and come up. He went into a full squat and come up again. And he went, wow, I haven't been able to do that, Scott. I said, does that mean that when you sit on the toilet, or sit on a chair, or sit on a sofa, or sit on your bed, you sort of like collapse into it? And he went, yeah. And I went, well, that's going to be affecting your golf game it may cause your performance to drop off by about 50 to 80%. So just by us getting your legs stronger will increase your golf drive. Really? Yes. How much do you charge? Oh, it's £5,000 a sign up. All right, so where do I pay? Can I pay with my card? Can I pay now? So we started working together, and we worked together for nearly 2.5 years. Now, my gym manager said to me, Scott, we get lots of complaints about you, but you're fucking fully booked. How are you working with that? And I said, well, you've got to get into people's heads. You can't be the same as 20 other trainers that are in the gym counting reps and watching the TV, watching the girl's bum, or looking at your watch, or playing with your phone, which everybody does now. You've got to stand out. You've got to be different. And he went, Scott, but I still keep getting complaints. I went, well, do you want your rent money or not? He went, yeah, all right, I see your point. He went, but could you tone it down? And I said, no, this is how I am. Charles Parlequin said something really funny, and it stuck in my head, and I still use it all the time. And Charles Parlequin said, if somebody went up to him and go, what do you think of my arms? He would say, I've seen bigger arms on a baby. So automatically, if you're a big guy or a small guy, that gets your ego and your temper up. When Charles, I think he knew about 6 or 7 different languages, so he's very intelligent, and he knew a few different martial arts. And he said that if you have a young child, and he did this with his daughter, that you should do multiple martial arts and multiple exercises, because you become much, much stronger than just sticking to the one karate or whatever it is. And I agree with that, because if you look at mixed martial arts, that's why it's so popular. And the good fighters do different types of martial arts to become great. Like I do some Aikido movements, I do some boxing, I do grappling. So I don't just do one thing only. Does that make sense? And the same when I'm in the gym doing my Chek workout, I'm doing push, pull, or I might be doing a lunge. So I'm mixing it up. It's never just, or correction, one day I will do push and one day I will do pull, because I found that the results and staying injury free is astronomical. But then Charles Parlequin said something else as well. Sometimes you have to say things to piss people off to get them to remember you. And I used all these techniques naturally without knowing this until I watched it during the COVID period, when we had all that time where Charles was saying these outlandish things, and this is why he said them, in which for people to remember him. The other thing he would say, you will always know when you're too fat is if you can pinch more than your penis skin on your arms. Now that's right out there, but that gets you thinking again, especially if you're a guy that may have a little bit of belly fat. You go home, you pinch your arm, you go, fucking, ooh, Scott said that about me, but I need to get it off, so I need to see him on how to get it off, if that makes sense. So with the Chek studying and what you learn, it is absolutely phenomenal, and it 1000% works, 100%. I've got no problem with that. But what I've got a problem with is the PaulChek says for success, with them having the 32 million estimated million in the bank account, they're already successful. But it's the practitioners that are not. Because from what I spoke about in the other long videos, the marketing is terrible. Gavin done a video called The Future of Health, buddy. So the Future of Health works out, it's 11 months old. It gets 2 views a day. I'm getting 2,000 to 3,000 views on my YouTube channel per day. So who's more successful on YouTube? So it looks like they're slowly going downhill, and people are getting, even Matt Walden's videos, 150 views in 1 year. That's way too low. So that should be saying to the Institute, people are bored with this stuff. It's not exciting enough. It's not getting people going, yeah, I want to learn more of that. Does that make sense? So I've learned with my videos, one video I did today where I played a track from a rock track where it was saying fuck you in the music. But because it's saying fuck you in the music, it's 1 o'clock, it's not stopped by YouTube. But I was doing some club bell and kettlebell pressing in the video. So that had, what was it? Over 1,000 views in a couple of hours. And that's because I know what to do with the algorithm in which to get the views happening. Now, I said to Gavin, why are they not putting thumbnails on the videos? It makes a huge difference. They're now doing it all, but they're all the fucking same. They're all of Paul, like that. So they're not understanding it needs to be different. The same as my videos, they're not all the same. They're different constantly to keep the algorithms keep pushing it out there. Does that make sense? And like I said in the other video, the faculty are not showing themselves exercising. They're just talking nonsense all the time, or talking, degree stuff that people don't understand. That's why I try and put everything in layman's terms. If somebody comes to me and they're a doctor, I know that I have to speak to them in a different way. If somebody comes to me and they're working on a building site, I can be myself. Does that make sense? So it's all about reading the person to make yourself more successful. I got one client to sign up for £25,000 in half an hour. By loving what I do, believing in what I do, and showing them you got this wrong, that wrong, that wrong, that wrong, that wrong. This is what we're going to do to change it, and it's going to take 6 months. Are you ready to start? Oh yeah, Scott, there you go, 25 grand in my bank account, and we worked through it, and I got them the result 1000% that they were looking for. Could I have done it without the Chek stuff? No, I couldn't. Honestly, hand on heart. I needed all the stuff that I've learned. But I don't understand why they're trashing their own marketing. And the main thing that's caused the drop-off, in my opinion, is Paul smoking tobacco. You're supposed to be an elite triathlete, he said. So if you're an elite triathlete smoking tobacco that affects your capillaries in your lungs, he might say, well, there might be new evidence. But scientists are saying that smoking cannabis and tobacco is highly damaging to the lungs, as well as the frontal cortex of the brain. And elite athletes like footballers, rugby players, Olympic medalists are not allowed to do any of that stuff because of their sponsors. And if their sponsors find out that they've done it, say they fail a drug test, that's their career completely over. And this is why you can see why these people are not looking at Chek stuff anymore, or don't want to work with Chek practitioners. Like I said, I've had 4 clients say to me, you're not doing that stuff the same as Paul, are you? I know you're a Chek practitioner, but do you follow it 100% where you ain't got your own mind? No, I've got my own mind. I had addiction issues when I was 19. I quit, I cleaned myself up and never been back since. And I've lost over 5 friends, good friends, to drugs. One girl, her husband bought ecstasy for her. She took the ecstasy and died in a nightclub. I really love this person. This is why it angers me so much that he's bastardizing the Chek name. But he can't see it like an alcoholic can't see that they're an alcoholic. Does that make sense? Until somebody puts it in their face for them. So I was out with my sister, right, and we was having a coffee in Chelmsford. this drunk guy come over, and I said to my sister, watch it, this guy's drunk, don't try and get into conversation with him. My sister's a bit of a drinker, so she wants to get into, I say, look, don't, it's going to cause a problem. What did it do? It caused the problem. In the end, I had to tell the guy politely, fuck off, mate. And this is what you got to remember is that, and this is what I learned when I was into drugs as well, is that birds of a feather flock together. So this is why I've had a few guys come to me. The first thing they say, oh, I love Paul's stuff, oh, it's brilliant, and I get stoned every weekend, and I take ecstasy, and I do this and I do that. I look at them straight away and I go, oh, sorry, I'm fully booked, I can't really work with you at the moment, because I know what that mentality is like. And I was in a Chek forum for nearly a year where we'd all chat, and they was all Americans, okay? Nearly, not all, but nearly all of them, I chatted to them individually, live, via the phone, and they were either smoking dope or doing something. So what he's done is that he's attracted birds of a feather flocked together. I don't want to be anywhere near any of that stuff, simply because it nearly killed me and it killed 5 of my friends. It's not until it happens on your own doorstep that you don't want to flock with the birds together. And I mentioned this to Gavin Jenkins about my client said to me, was I taking drugs because of Paul? It went in there, it went out the other ear. Otherwise, Paul would have stopped doing it. He mentioned me in the video. I know he was talking about me 1000%, but he didn't mention my name. And he said in one of the videos that, oh, one of my students is saying I'm an addict, this, that, and the other. Well, if you're not an addict, why are you doing it a couple of times a day? And why are you doing it when you're talking to people? And why have you done it with some of the people that are on your podcast that I've heard about? Remember, I hear stuff all the time. Just because I'm not faculty doesn't mean I don't hear the gossip, or people don't get on the phone and tell me the gossip. Does that make sense? So I believe the reason why the success formula has failed, that's one of the reasons. The second reason is that they've shortened the program but put the price up. The third reason is CHEKInstitute is complete shit. And I've had loads of practitioners over the year. Oh, you on CHEKInstitute? Yeah. How much work you got from it? 0. So why are you going to pay £11,595 over a 3-year period for a bit of paper that's not valid anywhere apart from the private organisation of the CHEKInstitute, and then you got to pay for this licence £125, and your doctor will not ask you for it, your clients will never ask for it, nobody will ever ask for this licence that they've just made up out of thin air just to make money out of, more money out of the practitioner. I said to Gavin, what they should do is really, when you get to a certain level, everything should be completely free. Because you've spent the time, you've done the hard work, you shouldn't have to pay for anything. Then you'd get the level 5 or the level 4 going to the level 2s, level 1s. When you get to my level, you get this, you get this, you get this, you get this. And then that student would go, oh, can't wait, I've got to get a free licence that nobody ever asked for. And then I'm going to get this shit qualification that nobody ever asked for anywhere. And it's not registered by the government, or even in the gyms won't allow you to use it. And the reason why I'm saying it's shit from a point of view, my FDN qualification, Functional Diagnostic Nutrition with Reed Davis, that was a beautiful qualification. All I got was a printout on the computer that they'd done on the printer, and it was in a blue folder. That was it. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've studied for 5 years. I've spent over £40,000. My surgeon friend of 25 years, his plastic surgery qualification is in a frame this big, that wide in his office. And it's got a really big golden badge or whatever at the bottom. And I'm like, he's a plastic surgeon. That looks fantastic. So to spend £40,000 like I did back in the day, or £11,595 pounds over a 3-year period, and to get the shittest qualification, as in just printed off and put in a little box and sent to you, is an insult. Even YouTube gives you something that's really valid when you get to 4,000 hours of watch time. Then they send you out that silver plaque. And I said this all to Gavin. You went in this ear, went out of that ear. I think it's because he's got nothing in between, maybe. That's me making a bad joke. But this is why the success formula of PaulChek is absolutely failing, in my opinion. The views have gone down on the YouTube channel. You can see 1 or 2 videos have had 5,000 views, the one on testosterone, but the others have had 2,000 to 3,000 views when they've got 41,000 followers. So that means half of them are asleep. They're not even watching it anymore, but they just haven't deleted that they're not watching anymore. Does that make sense? So I believe they're killing the system. And I just had an email today. I've just done a short video about it where they sent me a video trying to send me a bribe. Oh, Scott, we've looked in our system and we've seen you've paid for some stuff, so we want to give you a free course. Wait a minute. The last time I paid for anything was my license last year. Runs out soon, June or July. I'm never buying it ever again. And they probably wouldn't let me anyway after all the stuff that I've done on video. But the last time I bought anything was when I did level 4 and level 5, which was 13 years ago. So why are they using trickery in an email to try and get me to go, oh, they're going to give me a free course. Oh, I'm going to take my 150 videos down. No, I ain't. They ain't ever going down until they do the right thing. When they do the right thing, then they'll all come down. But until then, they're staying up because I know it's hitting everything. So the success formula, to make it work, there's some fundamental things they need to do. Their website, there's so many things wrong with it. Gavin, in his first email to me, I'm not sabotaging you. Well, why am I not on the front of Chek Connecting? When there's already a level 5 on there, that as far as I know, he doesn't have a website, and I don't even know whether he's still working with clients anymore. That's the backstabber. So I don't know if we're not friends anymore, so I don't know whether he's still practicing or not. And why would you have level 2s and level nothings on the front page of Chek Connect when I'm a level 5? I've recently learned that Gavin's a level 5. He's on there, but that's conflict of interest. He owns the company. The CEO that said he had 30,000 in assets, but then we find out he's got an estimated 32 million pounds floating around somewhere. So, and then he says to me when we had a meeting, oh, I can't pay £50,000 to be at Fit Pro. Of course you fucking can. That's peanuts to you. That's chicken feed. Why would you not do that in which to promote your Chek practitioners that are going, God, I tried to talk to that osteopath, it didn't work. Oh, I referred to that doctor, he never referred back. Oh, and I referred to that chiropractor, but he didn't refer back neither. What the fuck is going on? And then you've got to think about as well, the Chek name has been going since 1995. if it's not mainstream in 2026, it never will be. That's why the success formula has completely failed. And I believe because of Paul's smoking tobacco and doing stuff live has bastardized his own program. But he can't see it. Just like birds of a feather flock together, all the faculty, Gavin, they've all got these super brain egos that they can't see the wood from the trees anymore. But I'm putting it in their face, so they have to see the wood from the trees. Does that make sense? So I'm hoping I don't get any more dodgy emails, because I'm just going to publicise it all so everybody can see the whole story and go, oh, Scott paid his money, he did all the studying, he's worked with royalty, he's worked with world famous ranking photographer, he's worked with world famous fashion designers, I've worked with royalty, I've worked with 2 Harley Street elite surgeons in London. So why are they doing that to him? And why do they want everybody to work for free when it's completely illegal in the US and in the UK, even if you're giving a certificate or a course? And I was thinking today, well, maybe that's why the website is so crap, because they're not paying their staff anymore. The staff thinks, oh, I'm getting this certificate that's not valid, like Scott says, anywhere in the world. So I'm getting this buff certificate and I'm getting a course that's online that doesn't cost them a bean, because it's all been done, it's all been made. So it's just online. It's only costing them to keep it online, which is pennies to them, especially when you got an estimated £32 million in the bank. And this is the thing that made me laugh as well, is that Paul was going, oh, Heaven House is costing me loads of money, it's really bad. Wait a minute, mate, you got 32 million. That's, you're 63 now, you might live the next 30 years, you still ain't going to spend that money. So why are you complaining? It just doesn't make logical sense to me. And I don't really like it when people plead poverty, but then they've got, 80 grand in the bank. But having an estimated 32 million in the bank, it just makes you think. Another thing that I need to point out, at Christmas time, CHEKInstitute sends out an email. Oh, it's Christmas time. Would you like to donate some money for us to have a better Christmas than you, even though they're all already having a better Christmas than you, because they got estimated 32 million pounds in the bank? What do you think? So with the views going down on their YouTube channel, Gavin said to me, young people don't listen to older people. That's complete nonsense. I haven't found that issue, because I try to do the Machiavellian when I'm with a client. If you're 14 or 15, I act like I'm 14 or 15. If you're 80, I act like I'm 80, so I can gel and mirror you, so we get a good connection of working together. And then with the manual prices of, scientific core, scientific back, £250 or whatever they are, they're making such a huge profit. And one time I said to the Institute, wait a minute, I got this certificate from Scientific Back because I passed it, but it's got all these little logos at the bottom of it. What do they mean? Scott, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? So I'm paying £250 to do Scientific Core manual, which is brilliant, but it's not going to be recognised anywhere, and them little pictures at the bottom of the qualification are just Rolf Harris doing some designs that don't mean anything. That's a bit of a bad joke, that, isn't it? Saying Rolf Harris, after what we knew what he was doing with his didgeridoo. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. The CHEKInstitute success, failure in my opinion, and let's see what they throw at me next. Remember, if you're watching this, Paul, Gavin or faculty, I don't give up until I reach my goal. I'm like a marathon runner. I may have to dodge a little bit, take some water, have a little rest, but I'll keep going and going and going. As you know, I've done 80 videos. There's probably another 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 to come. So thanks very much for watching, and we'll chat again soon. Bye.